Dear friends, welcome back to Salt and Light Media's coverage of the 144th Supreme Convention of the Knights of Columbus here in Denver, Colorado. Joining me now is an honor and privilege to introduce His Excellency, the Archbishop of Baltimore, and the Supreme Chaplain of the Order of the Knights, Archbishop William Lori. Archbishop, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.
Bishop, today, during the clergy lunch, and if I may quote, with your blessing, you have been coming to these conventions since the 80s, as you have said, and now as Supreme Chaplain, and you've seen the convention and the order progress over the last several decades. I'm wondering, can you please share that progression of faith and prayer and the love of Christ that you've seen in front of your own eyes?
It feels like a journey I've taken as well. The Knights always were men of deep faith, very prayerful. The conventions were always beautiful experiences. But I have noticed over time, and have been a part of the process, whereby our conventions have become more and more centered on prayer. For example, we have an adoration chapel. Mm-hmm. Now that's been on for quite a while. It wasn't in the early years, we didn't have it. But during the tenure of Supreme Knight Carl Anderson, we began to have perpetual adoration. There's a great emphasis on the sacrament of reconciliation. We pray, I think, more ardently than ever for the canonization of our founder. And there's also been a development of the understanding of the spirituality, of the principles of the order that Blessed Michael left us, of charity, unity, and fraternity. And we've kind of discovered in them a summation of the gospel and a practical guide for living a life of deep faith and charity. And I sense that the Knights have done two other things. One, we have always understood that we were to form men in the faith. Mm-hmm. And a lot of efforts was put into catechetical work. Yes. We moved a little more into formation. Right. And this has been beginning with Carl Anderson and moving into Patrick Kelly, especially with the core initiative, yes, where men come together, and usually in smaller groups. They might be doing Men of the Word or Into the Breach, but things that get them to think about what's really at the heart of their existence, and how their heart is to be united with the heart of Christ. That's beautiful. And what are the obstacles, mm-hmm, and what needs to change? And they help each other, they encourage each other in being formed after the heart of Jesus Christ, making them better husbands and fathers, which was also what McGivney wanted to do from the beginning. Mm-hmm. The second thing is the order, following the lead of the Second Vatican Council and the subsequent popes, has really turned its attention to evangelization. Mm-hmm. The Knights engage in what we call a charity that evangelizes, but also we equip men to evangelize their families. Right in their homes. In their homes. If the husband and the father practice the faith, chances are the children are going to practice the faith. And so there's that evangelization within the domestic church. But also among their men, we have great membership years, but part of it is because these young men are looking for something deeper and better. It's called faith. Right. And they find it and they see it in their brother Knights. And they're coming in droves, you might say. And those are some of the changes I've seen, and it's certainly strengthened my own life as a priest.
That's beautiful, Your Excellency. And I'm sure as the shepherd of the people of Baltimore, you perhaps also experienced and seen the firsthand fruit of this formation and this evangelization that's happening in the domestic church within your own diocese.
You do. The Knights, of course, I being the Supreme Chaplain, I also pay close attention to the Knights of Columbus in the state of Maryland,
Sure.
particularly in the Archdiocese of Baltimore. They are wonderful. They are the ones that are often at the heart of parish life. When you visit parishes, you see that the Knights are not only the first ones to volunteer, but they're also the ones that are going to be in adoration. They're going to be the families from which vocations come. And we have a lot of vocations in Baltimore, 70 guys in the seminary right now.
Amazing.
And the Knights are the ones who are doing coats for kids, great pro-life work, loving mother and child. And you just see the good-heartedness. And that, I think, that example that they set and their willingness to talk about the faith, I think it's bringing people back to church. We're seeing our numbers go up.
Yes.
And the Knights are a big, big part of
Absolutely, absolutely. And touching on vocations, Your Excellency, I'm sure you believe that there is a correlation in this message that's being brought from the Knights and the number of vocations that we're praising the Lord for right now in the church.
Absolutely.
There must be some sort of hunger in that particular age group, which I'm sure you're seeing.
I am seeing it. The Knights have always been wonderfully supportive of vocations and very generous in helping seminarians along the path to the priesthood. But the Knights now, I think, express very openly and very lovingly their love and respect for the priesthood. They stood by us in the most difficult times in the priesthood. The Knights' families are open to vocations, but also, as you rightly said, the same hunger that's attracting young men to the faith is also attracting young men to the priesthood. All my seminarians are Knights of Columbus.
Amazing.
And some of them are Knights before they ever apply.
Sure.
And some apply pretty quickly after they've signed on the dotted line.
That's absolutely beautiful to hear, Your Excellency. We're so grateful for your shepherding, your leadership of the entire Knights of Columbus organization across the world, for your leadership as the shepherd of the people of Baltimore and Maryland as well. May God continue to bless you with years of dedicated love and service to Christ. And thank you for your example, especially as a younger priest myself, for a life of service dedicated to bringing a light in this dark world.
Thank you.